Wefion. Dr. Dieter Wefion is a dual board certified physician in internal medicine and pediatrics. He's also the founder of the Reclaim Your Health Solutions, a virtual functional medicine and metabolic health practice based in Fort Worth, Texas. He's coming in from Texas. He is originally a proud son of Africa from Cameroon. So to all the Cameroonians in the room, yay, welcome. After more than a decade of hospital medicine, Dr. Dieter shifted his focus to addressing the root causes of modern chronic disease, namely insulin resistance, gut dysfunction, and metabolic imbalance. And thus, he's helping people reverse disease rather than manage symptoms. He's also a passionate educator who teaches how lifestyle and nutraceutical strategies can restore metabolic health. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Dieter. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Catherine, for that. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be talking about something that I'm very passionate about. So, without further ado, I'm going to share my screen here and we will start the show. All right, and as you heard Dr. Catherine rightly say, I'm Dr. Dieter. I'm a board certified internist and I'm a board certified pediatrician. I become very passionate about the reason why we are sick today. Why are we so sick today? I ask the question. And the answer is simple. The reason we are sick today is because we eat in ways that harm our body's natural biology. Food is medicine, or it could be poison. And unfortunately, in modern day society, our food is the latter to us, has become poison. And what we eat affects two key systems in our body. What are those two key systems? Those two key systems are how the body makes energy, number one, and how the gut functions, numbers two. Those two things are the reason why we are sick today. Now, what I would like to do is to examine these two things, these two entities individually and give you a direct connection to how they make us sick today. Let's start with the very first of them, how our body makes energy. Now, how our body makes energy depends on the hormone called insulin. Insulin is a very critical hormone in the body. And what insulin does, the job of insulin is to mobilize glucose out of the blood into the cell. And when glucose is mobilized out of the blood into the cell, this is what happens. This is the cell right here. Okay. Under the command of insulin, glucose gets shunted into the cell. When glucose is shunted into the cell, it goes through a complex series. It is shunted into a special organelle in the cell called the mitochondria. The mitochondria is like the energy factory of the cell. You may recall in your junior biology classes as the mitochondria being called the powerhouse of the cell because that's where energy is made. So in the mitochondria, the glucose goes through a complex series of reactions with the release of an energy molecule called ATP, adenosine, which stands for adenosine triphosphate. That is an energy molecule. So that is how insulin secures the body's energy needs. Now, every cell in the body requires energy to function. The smallest entity of the body is a cell. Cell group up to form tissues, organ system, and the system forms the whole man. So every single cell in the body requires energy to function. When a cell does not have the energy that it needs to function, it malfunctions. The simplest definition of a disease is a group of cells tissues, organs, or system that has malfunctioned because of the lack of energy. Now, when insulin is not able to secure the body's energy needs, when there is a breakdown in this process of insulin securing the body's energy needs, we call that breakdown, insulin resistance. Okay? And when insulin resistance sets in and the insulin cannot secure the body's energy needs, you begin to have issues, diseases that stem from that. Now, why do we have insulin resistance? What causes this breakdown? Because once upon a time ago, when we were created by our maker, he made our insulin to be working perfectly. So what has made insulin not to be able to work perfectly? The answer is simple. And I go back to this slide of saying we eat in ways that affect these two biological systems. We're eating in a way that is affecting the way the body makes insulin. You see, every time we eat, insulin has to be called into action. Every time we eat, okay? Now, the statistics say that in today's day and age, right, we are consuming about 30 to 35% more calories than our ancestors did 500,000 years ago. So, if we are consuming more calories than our ancestors did, 30 to 35%, remember, every time we eat, insulin has to be called to work. It means that insulin is working much more than it's supposed to be. Just to tell you just to put into perspective, the profoundness of how much calories we are consuming. They say that in a single can of a soda, whether it's name your soda that you like, whether it's 7-Up or Coca-Cola or whatever in a single can of a soda, there is more sugar in that can of a soda than your great great grandfather or my great great grandfather would have consumed all of their life. In that single can of a soda, there is more sugar than that. So we are exposing ourselves to way more calories, than insulin can handle. Now, Dr. Catherine, if you have a job and your employer says, hey, Dr. Catherine, on this job, you're going to work overtime once a year. That's nothing. You'll be okay working overtime once a year. But if your employer came and told you, Dr. Catherine, on this job, I'm going to expect you to work 35% overtime every day, what's going to happen to you? You're going to get burned out, right? When you get burnt out as an employee, you become ineffective in your ability to do your job. So because we are consuming 30 to 35% more calories, we're calling upon insulin to work 30 to 35% more than it's supposed to do. So insulin has put in so much overtime hours and insulin has gotten burnt out. When insulin gets burned out, insulin could no longer be an effective employee. Insulin cannot secure the body's energy needs. That's what happens. And when insulin is not able to secure the body's energy needs, insulin resistance now results in, a slew of illnesses that come from the deficiency of energy. I tell you, Evans, if I gave you a time machine to go back 500-600 years in the past and come back and report to me if there was anybody with fatty liver disease or erectile dysfunction or migraines or Alzheimer's or high blood pressure, you pick any of this, you're going to come back to me and say, hey, doc, I never found a single person 500 years ago living with heart disease or diabetes or what have you. Why? Because our ancestors, did not eat in a way that burned out their insulin. You see, we are consuming we consume 3 meals a day. Some estimates say that our ancestors were consuming 3 to 5 meals a week. It's also, I'm being generous when I say we consume 3 meals a day, because we consume those 3 meals and then snack throughout the day. So they say that the average person is eating about 11 times a day now because of snacking between meals. And when you do that, your insulin gets burned out. Our ancestors did not live that way. So that causes that. Now, let's go to the second entity, how the gut functions and how that links to the reason why we are sick. You see, the health of our gut depends on a healthy bacteria population in the gut. Let me put it this way. Did you know that in your gut lives 30 to 100 trillion bacteria in the gut? 30 to 100 trillion bacteria. This is a depiction of them here. And they help the gut to perform very important functions. Now, those 30 to 100 trillion bacteria, there's a fancy name for them called the microbiome. And when the bacteria population in the gut is healthy, one of the things that it helps is it helps the gut regulate and train the immune system. You may not know it, but 70% of the body's immune system resides in the gut. 70%. The other 30% of the immune system resides elsewhere, the bone marrow, the lymph nodes, the lymphatics, what have you. And the gut is responsible for training the immune system. You see, when your gut is healthy, it trains your immune system to protect you, because that's what the immune system is supposed to do, to protect you, go to war for you. When your gut is not healthy, instead of it training the immune system to protect you, it does the opposite. It causes the immune system to attack you instead of protecting you. And as a result, you develop autoimmune diseases. The gut has so many important functions, and those important functions are secured by the health of the bacteria in the gut. You see, the bacteria in the gut live in what we call a 50-50% proportion. 50% of the bacteria in the gut are what we call bad bacteria. And the other 50% of the bacteria in the gut are what we call good bacteria. So they live in a check and balance. They check and balance each other. As long as you have 50% good, 50% bad, the gut's functions move smoothly without compromise. Now, what happens when what happens that causes the bacteria population to be out of whack can then lead to a compromise in the functions of the gut. So there is something we call gut imbalance. Gut imbalance is a situation where the bad bacteria now outnumber the good bacteria. So instead of having 50% bad and 50% good, gut imbalance is a situation where the bad bacteria now may increase to a population of 70%, and the good bacteria may decrease to a population of 30%. That's called gut imbalance. And when that happens, that compromises the functions of the gut. Now, what causes gut imbalance? Because our Creator made us perfectly and wonderfully. So, what results in that? We go back to the very thing I said. We eat in ways that harm the body's natural biology. We eat in a way that harms the gut. How is that? You see, the food for the bacteria in the gut is fiber, right? Now, fiber is one of those foods that humans do not digest. We cannot obtain any nutritional value from it because God, our Creator, made fiber to be food for the gut. Now, unfortunately, in this day and age that we live, our foods are so processed. Food makers have taken out all or most of the fibers from our food, and our foods are so processed. So, when there is a shortage of fiber in our foods, there is a shortage of fiber for this gut bacteria. Now, anytime there is a shortage of food, it sets into motion survival of the fetus, scramble. Now, in a survival of the fetus mode, the bad bacteria are the stronger bacteria. So what happens is that the bad bacteria, when there's a shortage of food because our foods are so processed, the bad bacteria hoard the little food that is there to themselves. And then they say, you know what? We don't have enough food for us, the bad guys and the good guys. So why don't we go ahead with the stronger ones? Why don't we go ahead and increase our army so we could keep a monopoly on this food? And that leads to that rise in 70% at the expense of the good bacteria that goes to 30%. And that gut imbalance compromises the functions of the gut. Now, when you have gut imbalance, you start developing diseases that as a result of the gut not being able to perform its function. Remember, the gut is supposed to help train the immune system to protect you. When you have gut imbalance, you now develop a scenario where the immune system, instead of it protecting you, it begins to attack you. And then you start seeing autoimmune diseases, lupus, Hashimoto's an autoimmune disease, MS, multiple sclerosis, an autoimmune disease, celiac, an autoimmune disease. Other diseases that require a well-functioning gut. Inflammatory diseases like asthma, gout can be on here too. Colon cancer, hugely linked to gut imbalance. Now, unfortunately, this slide doesn't represent all the disease entities that come as a result of gut imbalance. It's just a simple depiction that when the gut is out of balance, it compromises the functions of the gut and results in diseases. I want to draw your attention to these two illnesses at the bottom, anxiety and depression, because this fascinated me when I learned the science 3 years ago that anxiety and depression principally are the result of gut imbalance. You see, there is a hormone or neurotransmitter called serotonin. It is called our happy hormone or our mood hormone. It's the hormone that maintains our happiness. 90% of that hormone is produced in the gut, and the other 10% of it is produced in the central nervous system. You see, when I was in medical school, I thought that all of this hormone was produced in the central nervous system. Now, when the gut is unhealthy, that 90% is not going to be produced. The body is now relying only on 10%. There is a huge deficiency now in the hormone that is supposed to maintain your mood. You get anxiety and depression. So that is how these two entities right here, how the body makes energy and how the gut function, are the reasons why we are sick today. Thankfully, there is now strong evidence that if we can restore how the body makes energy and restore the balance of the gut, these two entities that resulted in a decrease in energy in the body, if we could address those two things and reverse the energy deficiency, then the diseases that came as a consequence of the energy deficiency of these two systems not working well, those diseases then can be reversed. And I like to give us a simple depiction. If I am driving in a car and the car runs out of petrol, gas, that car is gonna stop. It stops because it has run out of its energy source, not because of an intrinsic failure of the engine. So if I were to go to a petrol station and I bought gas and I walk back to my car on the side of the road and put gas or petrol back into it, that car starts again because I have given it back the energy that it needed to work. So it is with the body, ladies and gentlemen. These diseases that plague us today in modern society are the result of an energy deficiency. If we reverse that energy deficiency, those diseases, just like that car, starts working again. When you put gas in it or petrol in it, those diseases reverse. And that should be good news to us. And so I want to now introduce to you a solution which has become one of my very favorite tools as a doctor in helping patients to be able to reverse the energy issue and rebalance the gut. And this solution is called the Feel Great System. And what it is it's a nutraceutical product. When we talk about nutraceutical, we're talking about a product that is made 100% from plants and has huge therapeutic benefits. So what's this going to do? Remember I said that we eat in ways that has harmed the two systems of our biology, how the body makes energy and how the gut functions. So what this is going to do is it's going to use the science of intermittent fasting and fiber supplementation to reverse the energy problem, insulin resistance, and to reverse the gut imbalance. So how do we do that? Let's start with the very first product, this product called Unimate. It is made from a plant that is native to South America called the yerba mate plant. This plant is very rich in a special phytonutrient called chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid is a polyphenol. And this phytonutrient has the ability to help you to be able to intermittently fast without feeling hungry. Why? Because it causes the body to produce a special hormone called glucagon like peptide 1 hormone. This hormone, some of you may have heard about this when the GLP-1s, Monjaro, Ozempic, Zepbound, and what have you. That's the major ingredient in most of these pharmaceuticals, GLP-1. So what this does, once you drink the Unimate, it causes the body to produce that GLP-1. GLP-1 goes to the hunger center of your brain and calms the hunger center of your brain so you don't feel hungry. We want to use the science of intermittent fasting to reverse the energy problem. Why? Insulin got burned out because insulin had worked 30 to 35% of the time. And insulin got burned out. Dr. Catherine, if you get burned out from your work, the best way you recuperate is rest, right? Rest. So we have eaten our insulin to burn out, by letting it work 30 to 35% of the time. So the way we reverse that burnout is to giving insulin rest. And intermittent fasting is going to give insulin rest. You see, I mentioned that we're eating 3 meals a day and snacking throughout the day, whereas our ancestors, some estimates say they ate 3 to 5 meals a day. So they were not burning out their insulin. So we want to use 16 hours of fasting to give insulin a rest. So we recommend that when you are using this protocol, you try to fast for 16 hours. And how does that look like? We want you to make breakfast become extinct, no longer eat breakfast, and eat only lunch and dinner. Okay? If you do that, you'll be fasting for 16 hours. And it's easy. Let's say you have dinner at 7 p.m. After you have had dinner at 7 p.m., you go to bed at 10 p.m. You don't have anything else to eat. and then you wake up in the morning at 7 a.m. So from 7 p when you had dinner to 7 a when you've gotten up, that's 12 hours that your body has been in a fasting state. 8 of those hours you spend sleeping. What we want to do is we want to help you extend your fast by 4 more hours. Because if we can get your insulin to rest for 16 hours, insulin starts recuperating from the burnout. You see, when you're fasting, you're not bringing in calories. If you're not bringing in calories, you're not employing the burnt out insulin to continue to work. You're giving it time to rest. So, how do I do it? I wake up in the morning and I make a bottle of the Unimate. It comes in a sachet like this. In the sachet is a powder. Uh, it comes with a bottle like this. I fill the bottle to a level here called the Unimate, and I dump the powder into this. After dumping the powder, you just shake it, and then I just sip this out throughout the morning. You don't drink it all at once. You take little sips of it every 10 to 15 minutes. Each time you take a sip of this, is going to go and induce the production of GLP-1s so that the hunger center in your brain is quiet and so you don't feel hungry. And you could fast throughout breakfast until it is noon and extend your fast to 16 hours. While you're doing that, your burnt out insulin is resting. As your burnt out insulin rests and rests and rests and recuperates, it can now go back to being able to secure the body's energy needs. We're using the science of intermittent fasting, which our ancestors intermittently fasted, because that was, life back then. They were not saturated with calories. Today, we have an overabundance of food and even foods that are addictive that are causing us, to burn out our insulin. So we're trying to mimic to a degree how our ancestors 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, lived in such a way that they were healthy. So that's what this product does, the Unimate. It helps to be able to cause you to intermittently fast. And while you're fasting, it is resting insulin. Now, the second product in this protocol is a product we call Balance. Balance is a product that is made out of fiber. Fiber also helps insulin to rest. It's made out of fiber from 7 different plants. And just like the Unimate, it also comes in a sachet and it's a powder. Now, and how does fiber help insulin to rest? Remember, we're going to use the science of intermittent fasting and fiber supplementation to reverse those two root issues. This is what fiber does. Fiber slows down the transit of food through the colon, and as a result, decreases glucose absorption. When food moves through the colon slowly, which is secured by fiber, absorption occurs slowly, the release of glucose into the blood occurs slowly. When food moves through the colon fast without fiber, absorption occurs very fast and causes a fast release of glucose into the blood. That is not good. Now, let me show you how fiber, by doing so, will cause your insulin to rest. If you and I had a high fiber meal, let's say that's you and that's me. We both had pap, which is a high carbohydrate meal. Sorry, a high carbohydrate meal. And you ate your bowl of pap without fiber, your blood sugar is going to do this. And that blood sugar may be blood sugar 180. For me, I know a thing or two about fiber, and I know that it could decrease my blood sugar rise. And so what I do is I consume the balanced product, which is rich in fiber, and then I go consume the same bowl of pap. My blood sugar will do this. And that blood sugar for me may be a blood sugar of 80. Okay. What are the implications of that? Because you have produced a blood sugar of 180, your pancreas is going to have to produce a commensurate higher amount of insulin to deal with that blood sugar of 180. So your pancreas may produce 20 units of insulin. For me, because my blood sugar only went up to 80, my pancreas is going to produce a commensurate lower amount of insulin to deal with that blood sugar. Now, let me ask you this. If your insulin is burnt out, do you want less insulin to be working or more insulin to be working? You want less insulin to be working. So in this scenario where you have produced 20 units of insulin, you're having much more insulin working when insulin is burned out. You're better served at being in this situation where less insulin is working. If I'm burned out, you want to give me as little work as possible, not much work. So that's what fiber does to bring down, to help insulin to recuperate from its burnout. It causes insulin to do very little work. The less work insulin does, the more insulin is recuperating. And the other thing is that because of this scenario, every time you produce more insulin, you're gonna store more calories. So from this plate, or because you have produced 20 units of insulin, from this plate, from this bowl of pap, you may gain 950 calories because insulin is an anabolic hormone, storage of calories. For me, from that bowl of pap, I may only gain 350 calories. Huge difference. So that's what fiber does to be able to help rest insulin. So I've showed you how the Unamate helps to reverse the insulin energy problem by helping with intermittent fasting, and how the fiber also does the same thing to cause insulin to rest. The last thing is that fiber is food. One thing before I say that, as devoid of fiber our foods are, let me tell you this. I don't know what the statistics are in in South Africa, but I'll say what the statistics are here in the US. So in the US, they say the average man and woman is consuming 10 to 12 grams of fiber a day. A healthy man should consume 38 grams of fiber a day. A woman should consume 25 grams. But this is what we're doing in the US. I don't know what the statistics are in the rest of the world, but our foods are processed everywhere. You know how much fiber our ancestors were consuming? Estimates put our ancestors were consuming about 80 to 90 grams of fiber every day. Their foods were so rich. They were eating natural plant, natural animal foods, non-processed. So that's the huge reason why our ancestors did not have this insulin problem and this gut problem that we have it. And the last thing is that fiber helps to reverse gut imbalance, because remember, the food for the bacteria in the gut is fiber. And we developed gut imbalance when there was a shortage of food. The bad bacteria increase, and the good bacteria decrease because of that shortage of food. So by consuming the balance, which is rich in fiber, you now have enough food for the bad bacteria and the good bacteria, enough to go around for both, and no need for infighting. So this has become my very, very favorite tool in helping people to reverse the energy problem and the gut imbalance problem, restore the energy deficiency, and reverse the disease conditions that came as a result of that. And so I want to encourage you and say and make this bold statement: if you are struggling with any chronic modern day disease, the feel great system by helping you to restore the way your body makes energy and rebalance your gut can help you reclaim your health again. What I want to do now is just show you guys some pictures of people whose lives, have been reclaimed just by using this. And then after that, I will pass on this to Catherine and you will moderate and take questions. So the very first picture is of me. That's me. Um, the picture in black and the picture in me in the salmon jacket is 2 months apart. Uh, Things that this did for me. I used to suffer from insomnia. Um, and I used to I needed to take a lot of Benadryl to go to sleep. Insomnia is due to those two energy issues. I was able to reverse my insomnia. I also had high cholesterol. I was able to drop down my cholesterol by 64 points. I lost 14 pounds in the space of 2 months. You see, when your body cannot make energy well or use energy well, you store fat. When insulin levels are high, insulin causes you to store fat in a jail cell like that. When insulin levels become low, reversing insulin resistance, fat gets released from the jail cell. And when that happens, you begin to have uh, um, uh, reversal of weight issues. So that was me. I lost 14 pounds in a space of 2 months. The next picture is my sister, my twin sister in Cameroon. She dealt with her weight also and also had PCOS. When I learned about this, I shared it with her, and in the space of 2 months, she lost 13 kilograms, a little over 26 pounds. This is a picture of my cholesterol. This is what this did to my cholesterol in the space of 3 months, dropping it by 64 points. This is my good friend, Dr. Natasha. I don't know if Dr. Natasha is on here today, but Dr. Natasha is a pediatrician, and Dr. Natasha dealt with gut issues, dealt with insulin resistance issues, weight issues, and this is what this did for her in that time frame too. Reversal of diabetes, Jim, A1C from 12.2 to 5.2. This is another person who reversed the diabetes. You address those two core issues, diseases go away. You see, when your insulin is not working well and your gut is not working well, it causes you to be in a chronic inflammatory state. Chronic inflammation causes you to age. Once you reverse those, you age younger. These are one and the same people. Look at the remarkable difference, just by restoring those things. Um, just some more pictures. This is Cody. Cody was an alcoholic who could not get rid of his alcohol dependence and was also obese. Cody is now free from alcohol dependence, lost weight and no sagging skin using the Feel Great system. This is Sue, and I love Sue's story because Sue's family was going to put her in a nursing home because she was diagnosed with early onset dementia, started forgetting the names of loved ones and people she had known for a long time. And the picture with her holding the baby on her chest, the very first picture on the left. If you told me Sue was a grandmother, I'd be like, yeah, she looks like a grandmother, acts like a grandmother, smells like a grandmother. But the picture on the right is 2 months after using the Feel Great system. And Sue was able to regain her memory back, her life back, aged younger. And if you told me that this second picture on the right was a grandmother, it's not that obvious and that's what this did for her. Another picture before and after, diabetic, sleep apnea, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. This lady had lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes, all of those gone in that span of time, also lost 40 pounds. This is somebody who reversed their type 2 diabetes, cholesterol got better, blood pressure got better, triglycerides got better, no longer on medications, down 70 pounds, reversed diabetes, cholesterol better, triglyceride numbers better. This lady had an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto thyroiditis. She was able to reverse that too and age younger. This is our friend Keith. Keith was a diabetic for over 25 years, reversed his diabetes, has his life back. He had high blood pressure, reversed that too. Keith had an ulcer on his leg that could not heal. And by addressing those two root cause issues, Keith was able to reverse his, not only reverse his diabetes, half the ulcer on his leg healed. He's no longer on insulin, no longer on blood pressure medicines. He's thriving. That's key. So this kid here, this is his foot one. This was what diabetes did to him. And this is what the Feel Great system was able to do for him. January 2025, the very first picture at the top left. Um, and then after having about 180 grand in treatment, hyperbaric oxygen, and what have you, the best that that foot could get to was looking like the picture on the right hand side. After 3 months, 3.5 months of using the Feel Great system, he had complete healing. He now has good pulses in his feet and what have you. So that's what that did for him. This is our friend Beatrice. Beatrice is on the call. This is what that did for her. And Beatrice is continuing to experience transformations, every day. This protocol is also effective in kids. Unfortunately, our kids are not immune to the epidemic of obesity and insulin resistance, and it's saving kids. This is our own Catherine. This is a transformation right here. And this is a type 1 diabetic who, using the product, was able to drop her weight by 35 pounds, decrease the total insulin by 79%. You see, a lot of type 1 diabetics have gut imbalance. Gut imbalance affects insulin. A lot of type 1 diabetics have underlying insulin resistance. So when you address those two things, it could decrease the amount of insulin that a type 1 diabetic needs. She was able to decrease a total insulin requirement as a type 1 diabetic by 79%. So this is Kim. Kim had irritable bowel syndrome, Hashimoto thyroiditis, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. She was an autoimmune wreck and she got her life back. So many stories of people's lives being transformed forever. Sheridan suffered from anxiety, irritable bowel syndrome. She was on antidepressants for 25 years. She had skin tags, chronic fatigue. All those things are gone. And so those are testimonies of people who were able to get their life back thanks to the Feel Great system. So Catherine, I'm going to turn that now to you to moderate and take any questions and what have you.
Thank you very much, Doc. Firstly, can we all just give Dr. Dida an amazing round of applause once again? That's always an amazing presentation that you give, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you.
I come to these sessions every week and I encourage people to do so because every week I pick up something new, even though I am a trained biomedical scientist, but every week I pick up something new. So please, thank you so, so much. So there are a lot of comments and questions in here, Doc. I don't know how you want to go about them. You want to take them one by one? like
Okay.
we did last week, and then we can just
Yes.
walk through them, if that's okay. Please go ahead.
Okay. Sounds good. I don't know how I can just start from the bottom going to the top.
No problem. Yes, let's
Okay.
do that.
Can the product help with osteoporosis and renal cyst? Um, in regards to renal, I'll start with the renal cyst. In regards to renal cyst, I do not know with certainty whether it can help with renal cyst. If the cyst growth is due to insulin resistance, yes. Now, if the renal cyst is due to something else, like genetic conditions, like what we call polycystic kidney disease and what have you, then that will not be helpful. So it depends on whether the cyst growth is driven by insulin resistance. So that's what I would say. Now, in regards to osteoporosis, so osteoporosis is a disease of aging, number one. And then the other thing is also not only a disease of aging, also a disease of of um, calcium deficiency. So those two things. Now, the symptoms of osteoporosis are compounded by the gut and insulin. So this is not going to reverse osteoporosis per se, but because the symptoms of osteoporosis are compounded by how the body makes insulin, insulin resistance, and gut dysbiosis, this could help improve osteoporosis and improve some of the symptoms. So let me take the next question.
So the next question says, when one starts intermittent fasting, that becomes a new way of eating and must be done every day. So the question is, if we go on to this protocol, does that mean that becomes a forever kind of way of life?
Yes, I will say straightforward yes. And I want to go back to what I said about our ancestors. Our ancestors did not eat 3 meals a day. If you went back 500 years ago, you will see that our ancestors were not eating 3 meals a day. So dropping 1 meal a day, is the way to go to give your body health. Now, if every once in a while, something is special and you have to not fast one day, that's no big deal. But the big picture of it is that you should make this more of an everyday thing. So, for example, every every Saturday in my home, I prepare a special breakfast for the family. I make African pancakes, what we call crepes. So that's a day that I don't fast 16 hours. I share that time with the family. 6 days out of the week, I am fasting 16 hours, but that's a special day. Every once in a while, if I travel, I go on a vacation, I may not fast. Maybe I've gone on a vacation and I want to enjoy, but when I come back, I get back into my routine. But to answer that question, make that the most part. Look, our ancestors did this every day. They were not eating 3 meals a day. They were by default, they were intermittently fasting without even knowing what the definition of intermittent fasting was. That's how they lived.
It's quite interesting, Doc, because literally this afternoon I read an article and saw a video of an interview of Serena Williams. She is on these synthetic GLP weight loss medications, right? And she was talking about how she's actually going to live like that she plans to continue injecting herself with these things for the rest of her life. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, it really is interesting because people people some people have made the mind that have made in their mind that I'm gonna continue taking my insulin for the rest of my life. But it's kind of hard to say, okay, I'm gonna continue intermittently fasting for the rest of my life. Some people are
Yeah.
comfortable taking, blood pressure medicines for the rest of their life. It's
Mhm.
medicine, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it should be the same. It should be the same way you look at this. This will give you health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Hope, I see your hand. I'm going to take you just now after this next question. So this one is a bit complex. It's from Murakani in Bloemfontein here in South Africa. She says she's on dialysis with polycystic kidney disease. She also has a 9-year-old with lupus. So she's a very busy mom with lots and lots of, a challenging life, it sounds like. So I guess she just wants to know if this product can improve her life. She also has 2 boys with autism. So
Okay.
can we
Yeah.
feel for your situation? Thank you for joining tonight.
Yeah. So a lot of patients who are on let me not say a lot of patients. I have a patient we who is on dialysis, not my patient, somebody who is on dialysis in Canada on the field grade system and has said that since they began taking this, they're experiencing less they're experiencing less symptoms of what's the word? I'm looking for the medical term here. So, as a dialysis patient, there's symptoms that you experience because of dialysis. The kidney failure. I'm just forgetting the name of the term here. But what they have realized is that they're experiencing less and less symptoms of those. Yes, this is not gonna reverse your kidney failure, but it will improve your lifestyle. Why am I forgetting? I'm sorry. But I have a mental block of this. Of it has to do with toxicity from kidney failure. They're experiencing less of those symptoms. So this will help you to. You're going to notice your energy levels are going to be better. You're going to notice that. Um, um, the symptoms of toxicity when the toxins are building up are not going to be as pronounced as they were before. And so it could be an added resource to help you as you deal with your dialysis. Now, in regards to um, your 9-year-old with lupus, this is going to help her. Lupus is as a result of gut imbalance as well as insulin resistance. The gut imbalance causes your immune system to turn against you, and the insulin resistance causes is like fuel on the fire, stoking the immune system even more. So if you take away the fuel from the fire, the insulin resistance, and deal with the root cause of the fire, the gut, those two things are going to improve. So that's what I will say to that. It stands a chance in helping you with some of the symptoms of your kidney disease, as well as helping reverse the root cause of lupus. Your daughter stands a huge chance of seeing an improvement in her lupus and even a remission.
Great. Hope, please take the mic. Ask the question. Hope, please go ahead.
We need to ask her to unmute.
I had, and she had unmuted. In the
Okay.
meantime,
Hello?
yeah, there you go. Please go ahead, Hope.
Hi, how are you? Actually, Hope is my daughter. My name is Miriam from Kenya. I'm just
Okay.
using my daughter's account. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Jambo.
yeah, I'm glad to actually learn about these products through a friend in Michigan called Lois. I just wanted to find out when you're on autophagy, that is you're fasting purely when you're on basically fluids. Which is the combination would you consider having with these products on when you're on autophagy so that they are effective? And how do you go about it, especially if you're a person who worked out in the morning and also you're on autophagy, which is the best combination to consider with either Unimate or Balance? Because I think there's one you take before you do a high carb diet and
Yes,
all that.
yes. Okay, let me say this. Hopefully this will answer your question. Um, uh, it's recommended that you take the Unimate 2 times a day and the Balance once a day. So I make 2 bottles of the Unimate. The way I take the Unimate, I take my first bottle in the morning to extend my fast to fast for 12 hours. So for 16 hours. And then comes to lunch, I have lunch. I break my fast, I have lunch. After I've had lunch, I make the second bottle of the Unimate and I keep sipping on the second bottle of the Unimate after I've broken my fast for another 4 to 5 hours. So 2 bottles of this a day. Now the Balance, I take it, I recommend you take the Balance once a day, 5 minutes before your heaviest meal. On this protocol, you're going to be on 2 meals a day, just lunch and dinner. So if lunch is your heaviest meal, you're going to take it 5 minutes before lunch. If dinner is your heaviest meal, you're going to take it 5 minutes before dinner. So to answer your question, 2 servings of the Unimate, 1 serving of the Balance. Now, you could take 2 Balance if you want to take 2 Balance every day, but the box, when you order it, it comes in either 2 servings of the Unimate, 1 serving of the Balance. So they're finding out that the 2 servings of the Unimate and 1 serving of the Balance, taking those in combination, give you the most effect. You don't want to take it out of this schedule. Now, there is also another way that you can take this: 2 servings of Balance and 1 serving of Unimate. And so you could either take 2 servings of the Unimate, 1 Balance, or 2 Balance and 1 Unimate. Those have comparable effects in giving you the maximum benefit. I hope that answers the question.
In South Africa, just to be clear, in South Africa, they're giving, the box comes with 2 Balance and 1 Unimate.
Okay. So that's
I
okay.
don't know how it's set up in Kenya, but in South Africa, for Southern Africa, it's two Balance.
Okay, great. So I think what happens is in the US, we have 2 options. We have the two Unimate, 1 Balance, 2 Balance, 1 Unimate. Taking the 2 Balances every day and 1 Unimate is just fine.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move right on because we do have a lot of questions, guys, so please bear with us. Next question. My doctor believes that women over 50 should only fast for 12 hours. This is Mpo in South Africa. She says 16 hours creates stress to the body, especially during perimenopause and menopause, thereby increasing the hormone cortisol. So your comment, please, Doc.
Yeah, so there is some truth to that. And what I would say is there is some research that says that depending on where you are in your cycle, that should be a time when your system does better, not fasting. There is actually a book written by Dr. Mindy Peltz that says "Fast Like a Woman." So I want to validate that. On the other hand, I will say that we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women who are fasting for 16 hours and are doing just fine. Just fine. And if you're a woman on here who has been fasting for 16 hours since you started this and you're doing just fine, just with no issues, Comment in the chat, please. And there are women who have seen their perimenopausal symptoms improve with fasting like this. So I take the comments. I take the comment. There is truth to that. But on the other hand, too, we're seeing a lot of women who are fasting for 16 hours and doing just perfect.
Hey, Doc, thank you. Michaela? My daughter was put on Wegovy recently. She's said to be insulin resistant. Can she take both products while she continues with her prescription?
Absolutely, she could take both products. It's because what I tell people is that this is food. This is not medicine. This is a food product, and so there's no contraindication to taking medicine. You know, when we eat the right food, the body is gonna produce GLP-1. So this is a right phytonutrient that causes your body to produce GLP-1. So absolutely, she can take both products.
Thank you, Doc. We are appreciating all the testimonies that are in the chat. So please, everyone, do take a look in the chat about testimonies. In terms of the question around how do we get the product, I'm going to answer it in the following manner because this is how we answer it. The product, please talk to the person who invited you into this session this evening. They're going to guide you about how to get the product, regardless where you are. That's the right way to go about it, because pricing and the how-to and all of that is done based on where you are. So Jude Kimby, please talk to the person who invited you into the call. They're going to help you get a hold of the product. And thank you so much for the testimonies. What question have I missed? If I've missed your question, because there's a lot
somebody is talking about autism.
They're getting all mixed up. So please, rather raise your hand so we can address your question.
Somebody is talking about autism.
It's all getting all mixed up, Doc. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any indication that this product helps with autism. You know, we do not have any testimonies so far that this helps with autism.
Okay, so back to that question of that dialysis patient, Doc, and I think it's a good one because, yeah, what she's saying is that she's not supposed to drink more than 500 ml of water a day anymore. So she's in like proper kidney failure. So what is she going to be able to do now?
I think what you do is you incorporate, she could use the Feel Great system and just incorporate the volume of fluids that she's supposed to take, because you're going to be mixing this with water anyway. So to stay within that 500 ml prescription of what she needs to take, you can just mix the balance and the Unamate in smaller portions of water so that you stay within that 500 ml.
Kutsi, I see you. Please unmute. I think you have a question, a specific question about your client.
Yes, thanks very much. So, Dr. Data, we have a client that bought the protocol and he was on it. Earlier on this week called, was saying, oh, this thing, and I think that's just the fear where if somebody calls and says, this thing of yours is giving me chest pains. So we are literally talking about a gentleman who is he's got a bit of weight, and I think he's taking some medication for high blood pressure. And I think initially it was an issue of if he gets onto this thing, he won't be able to eat, and he must eat so that he takes his medicine. So what could have caused the chest pains? Is it anything to do with the protocol, or it's totally removed from it?
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the protocol, causing chest pains. Yeah. It may be coincidental that this happened this happened at the time he started that. But we have not had any reports of people taking it and having chest issues. Now, if he already has comorbid conditions here and there which are not being addressed, it just so happens that he's manifesting symptoms around the same time that he began taking this. But I don't see any we don't have any any science to say why you should have chest pain, and I haven't encountered any patient taking this who experiences chest pain, so I don't think it's related.
Thank you, Doc. Linda, you got the mic. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you guys. By the way, first, before you say something, I just want to say thanks to those who are putting their testimonies in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, related to that, Doc, I've asked Ophelia, I've seen her testimony. Now, I'd really like her to talk to us about it because I think she touches on some very interesting, important health problems for some of us down here in Southern Africa. So,
Okay,
Ophelia,
so-
if you don't mind, after Linda, can you take a mic and share your testimony? Thank you. Linda?
Okay, I just wanted to share a quick testimony on autism and the improvements I've seen in my son. We started him in November last year, and his insomnia, my son had never slept for the 9 years he had, actually 10 years he had been on this planet, the whole night. So one of the things that was sorted very quickly was insomnia. Number two, he had some gut issues that basically disappeared. His concentration levels increased. His we call him Mr. Calm now because he can sit for longer hours, and
Wow.
he's now been more interactive with us. He's more how do I put it, present. So it doesn't cure autism. That's one thing I have to be very specific. I'm not saying it cures autism, but it has really, really helped my son.
Oh, wow. That's really good to hear. That's really good to hear. Okay. So you're saying your son
it's because of his gut. Sorry.
No, so you're saying your
Sorry,
son who's autistic has had improvement in his energy, in insomnia, and in his behavior overall?
Yeah. Because when we went on it was because of his gut. He was having a lot of constipation, and when we started it, that disappeared. I remember there's a season we won enema nearly every week, so that completely disappeared. We've never had that again. So we call him Mr. Calm now.
Wonderful. Well, that is so good to hear. That is so good.
So, Ophelia, I had asked you to take the mic if you don't mind sharing your testimony out loud. But while she's doing that, Doc, there is one point that I would like you to talk to, and that is the side effects. And more importantly, are there any withdrawal symptoms, if you will, when somebody stops taking the protocol?
Great. I like that question. In terms of side effects, there's a transient side effect of introducing fiber. So depending on how bad your gut imbalance is, when you start giving your gut fiber, some people will have constipation. And I call it transient because that lasts only for about anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. So some people, depending on how bad their gut imbalance is, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, stretching into 4 weeks. I had constipation for 12 days when I started using this in March of last year. And by 12 days, I don't mean I went for 12 days without stooling. No. during that 12-day period, I was training. I was going only every 3 days. But at the end of the 12 days that went away after my gut acclimatized to that fiber load, I began to have regular stools, no more constipation. That was gone. So there's a transient period where your gut is acclimatizing to that load that you will have those symptoms. Now, the other symptom or side effect that we have seen is a common side effect that we have seen is related to caffeine. Some people who have a caffeine sensitivity are going to demonstrate whatever that caffeine sensitivity is. And I don't know if you guys have, I don't think you guys have the decaf version available in South Africa yet. The decaf version is available in the United States. But one of the ways to combat that caffeine sensitivity is by decreasing the concentration of the Unimate. Instead of doing one full sachet, you could do half a sachet in the same bottle of water.
Great. Thank you, Doc. So yeah, I mean, as colleagues, you can see we are basically just having an interaction now. So please feel free to leave the meeting if you have time pressure. But those who still need to chat a little bit with Doc, I think he's going to give us another 5-10 minutes of his time. Ophelia,
I'm
please
ready
take
to
it.
speak.
All right,
Ophelia is ready.
Ophelia, talk to us.
Good day, everybody, or good evening.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Ophelia. I'm in the US, and I've been on the protocol for 3.5 months. And to speak the least, this protocol is so good, I cannot even explain. I was obese, but now I think I am in optimal health. Because I've lost more than 10 pounds, I feel really great. I suffered from insomnia. Now I sleep like a baby. I just need to put my head on my pillow and I'll be gone. I suffered from arthritis. I used to get down from my bed and virtually hold the walls before creeping to the toilet. But now I get up like a monkey. I just jump down out of bed and I'm off. I don't feel the pains anymore. Arthritis is all gone. The doctor told me a few months back that I was pre-diabetic and I was borderline high blood patient. So they put me on metformin and on some high blood medicine. But I told the doctor I was confident I was going to reverse this thing. I didn't feel comfortable taking those medicines every day. So from the way I feel my body, I know everything is working good. I feel really great. To say the least, I feel really great, And the skin is glowing. So if you see me, you know. If you know me, you will know that something is going on in my system. I feel really great. And I think this protocol has gone a long way to help me. And I'm preaching it to everybody to try. Just get on board and try. Get one pack for yourself and see the wonders of the product. They are good. I also tried it on my grandson, who is 12, and he lost 10 pounds. He's good. His confidence has come back because he himself was feeling mocked at school by friends. Now he says he's a new person and he intends to go on and lose another 10 pounds. So my weight too has melted and I'm feeling really great. So everything is moving fine. Yes. So I recommend this product to everybody who has not come on board to try and come on board and get some of the Feel Great system and try it for yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ophelia. That's a wonderful testimony here. We are glad to hear that you're doing well and thriving on this. And this is what we're trying to do, to have people know that there is an option out there. You see, I think that if people know that there is something like this that can help them reclaim their health, they will take advantage of it. You know, if you give somebody two options, option number one, be on chronic medications for life and just manage your symptoms. Option number two, we reverse the root cause and take your health back. Every reasonable person will take option number two. Ophelia, thank you so much for your comment. I think we had Beatrice who wanted to say something. Beatrice, can you raise your hand so that I could unmute your mic if you're still there?
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Beatrice, good evening.
Good evening. I just want to just say something and encourage everybody. I have been on the protocol since August, and I feel so amazing. I have been able to get hope. I had lost hope about losing weight, thinking that, oh, I work night shift. I am maybe in premenopause, having all these excuses, my cortisol. I know somebody was concerned about fasting as a woman in menopause. I just want to encourage you that the benefits outweigh the risk. I work night shift, so definitely all science shows that cortisol goes up at night, but the fact that I've been able to lose weight and keep it off while I'm working night shift, it just shows that the benefits of this protocol outweigh any risk that you may think could happen as you're doing the intermittent fasting. And it is so easy. You're just skipping your breakfast, and which you can actually, like, I don't know, if you're busy, you can just easily forget about it, and by the time you realize, it's time for you to eat. So it's not something that you need to stress about. It just comes automatically. You're just skipping one meal, and it's saving you. If you work mornings, if you're rushing going to work, then you don't have to even worry about eating, because you already have something that is going to keep you going. And as you do that, you're going to be so focused. I used to struggle with sleep at night but I usually get the caffeine and the decafs on the days I'm working night shift. I just take my caffeine and I'm alert the whole 12 hours. People are struggling. They are feeling sleepy, and I'm just so alert and awake. So the benefits you're going to get from using this protocol will just amaze you. So just give it a try. Don't even think about it. That's all I had to say.
Thank you so much for that encouraging word. Thank you.
Quinta, you have your hand up. Please take the mic.
Yeah, I think Quinta, let's ask to unmute. Quinta, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Kodo. Good to
Hello?
be. Hello.
You're
Are you
joining
getting?
from... Yes, we're hearing you, Quinta. We can hear you loud.
I'm joining from Yaoundé, Cameroon.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, Doc, for your presentation that you brought it low to a layman's understanding. And first of all, I'm proud to have you as my Cameroon brother. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I came. A friend of mine who is over there indicated the Zoom meeting talked about it a week ago, and I was rushing back from work today just to join, and I've learned a lot. Actually, my husband has been living on they call it mint for me these drugs for diabetes for like 9 years now. And our greatest wish is for him to stop the drugs. Each time I convince him to stop, he's scared and he thinks that if he drops it, it's going to do more harm than good. When I got of this, I'm so interested that I want to actually have even one-on-one, so that if you can talk to him, he can be convinced. Listening to you, I'm already convinced. And so, first of all, the first step, how do I get the products here? You call it
A feel great system.
yes. How do I get it?
All right. For the interest of time, who invited you here? Who from the States invited you?
It's Kimbi Siveria.
Okay, have Kimbi. Kimbi will share my number with you, and then we can talk about that because I just sent about 30 boxes of the product to Cameroon last week. So you can buy it from there, from my parents. So let's put that aside, and I could address that one-on-one with you. Kimbi can share my number with you.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much, Doc. Thanks so much.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Pinta. So, yes, thank you, everyone. I think that was the last question we are going to take this evening. We're going to wrap this up just now. To close, I would just like to say thank you, everyone, for making time. We do this every Thursday, 7 p.m. South Africa time, 8 p.m. in East Africa, 6 p.m. in Cameroon, 5 p.m. in Ghana. So please join us again. And all you guys in the United States, thank you always for your support. We need to grow this product or the knowledge about this protocol here on African soil. And I know most of you call Africa home. So we need your help, those of us who are on the ground here. People are demising at shocking numbers from these chronic illnesses here. And our health systems are not geared up to help people or to teach people to reverse disease, as you would know. So please, thank you so much for coming tonight. And we hope to see you again next week, same time, same place. And I'm going to now give it over to Dr. Dida to close for us. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for being here. And please invite somebody to join us next week. So if you're on this today and you wish that we use the same link every Thursday, okay, you could use this link to invite a brother, a sister, an aunt, a friend, or whatever you to join us to listen to this fascinating and good news about reversible diseases, so that your loved ones do not continue to struggle with an issue that they don't have to be struggling with. It's sad to know that many people are struggling and don't have answers to something which can easily be solved. So you now have this knowledge. You can share this knowledge with others. And so we invite you to do so. And thank you guys for being here today. And we're always looking for people to join our team. We think this is a massive mission to help as many people as possible to reclaim their health again. And the more town criers we have singing this good news about reversible chronic conditions, the more people's lives we can touch. It is my desire that come this year, 2026, we touch and impact the lives of at least 100,000 people. And together we can do that. So we invite you to consider joining us in some way to increase the choir, so we can take this message to people who need it. Lastly, if you were on here today and you would like a recording of this, get with whoever invited you to this call today, and they'll get you a recording. Thank you and have a good one.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Good night.